Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Pekin Freeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to round 8 of the Apex Racing League GT Trophy Pro Series here at Road America live on Apex Racing TV. My name is Andy Thompson. I'm joined in the commentary booth by Mr. David Whitehouse, and in production we have the wonderful Dennis Brown's giving us our wonderful pictures and overlays for tonight's broadcast. So, Dave, tonight, round 8, Road America, penultimate round of the GT Trophy. What a track.
Yeah, it's a great track to race on. Wide, open, expansive straights, followed by quite a twisty back section, and then it starts to speed up again, but plenty of places to overtake, plenty of places to gain that extra tenth if you need to. And with the rise and fall of the circuit as well, it's all about driver confidence.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Road America is one of them tracks that everybody loves, I think, at the end of the day, and it's exactly like you said, it's sort of like split in two. So you've got the real fast sector 1s and 2s where they go down the very long straight after the turn number 3, going down into the very sharp turn 5 left-hander. Then they get into the tight twisty section, and then they go around the carousel. A little bit of a fast going, speeding past the kink at turn 11, coming down into Canada corner, and that's always one for a lot of action, certainly in these GT3 cars that we have here tonight. And then the back section, just setting yourself up for that massive run through the really long straight through the start finish. So it's going to be entertaining, and there's going to be a lot of slipstreaming, I think, in this race.
Yeah, there will be, and it'll be just interesting to see who can keep their minds, because it's very easy to make a mistake here, run onto the grass, lose a bit of time, and if you do that, you could completely ruin any chances of a championship for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Talking about the championship, let's just have a look at the championship standings at the moment. If one of the Dennis can put up championship, here we are. So this is the current champion stand at the moment. Stan Newman still keeping his first place there overall. A little bit of a gap there over Brandon Taboni. So Brandon Taboni's obviously managed to overtake Bogdan Moldovan, who's currently in third place. But, you know, the big mover at the moment seems to be Leon Penn. Had a great outing at the last round in the Hungaroring, winning that round, which certainly has moved him up the leaderboard. John Derrick has sat there in 5th place, only 4 points behind 4th place. Then we got Richard Gavenku, who's Mr. Consistent, it seems, at the moment. They're in 6th place on 315. So at the top of the standings at the moment, it's all quite close from 7th up to 1st. There's always opportunities for them to leapfrog each other, and then there's a little bit of gap over Gribstad in 8th place at 269. So it certainly seems to be a group of 7 there splitting away from there. Oh, as we see a big crash there in the background. Obviously currently in 2 minutes 30 of qualifying. That was Kieran Smart doing the obligatory turn round turn 1, where you do clip that outside edge. You will do what Kieran did then and hit the wall. So hopefully he doesn't do that in the race, and he can get some laps out in here. So championship all hotting up, 2 rounds left, all to play for. Drop rounds have been included, and sort of the top 7 of the drop rounds, their drop scores are literally zeros. Obviously either missing a round or completely getting taken out of the race and not finishing. So these drivers at the top of the championship can't afford to have a poor round tonight or tomorrow or next week at our final round. So there's a little bit of pressure on the top guys to make sure they do finish in a decent place, and that will add to the excitement of tonight's race, and see who's the aggressor and who is just trying to keep it safe and get around the track.
Yeah, I mean, looking back at them points, you've got to look at people like Chris Beats, Richard Kavenku and John Derrick, who really need to pile pressure on with a good result here today. The other 4 maybe can just make sure that consistency comes with the results. The top 6 in the championship actually finished top 6 in the race last time out, so not in the same order, but it just shows how quick these and how close these 6 guys are all together. I think for myself, Sven Newman's been cruising a bit since he's come back. I know he's got a 3rd and a 4th, but we haven't seen him with that absolute rapid pace we saw at the start of the season. So he could do with a confidence boost in results, I think, in terms of pace.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he has. I mean, we look back at his round 1 was he came 4th, then it was a 1st, 2nd, 1st. He didn't attend the Road Atlanta, and then got a 3rd in Long Beach, and 4th is equal worst position at the last round overall in championship. But you know, for a guy that his lowest position is 4th, you know he's going to be a fast driver, and he just needs it consistent. He is a decent amount of points ahead of 2nd place. Obviously there's 70 points open up for grab for 1st place, and then 5 points down from that for 2nd, and going down to sort of like 58 points for 4th. So the point scale at the top of the grid is quite a big sliding scale, but with his advantage, as long as he's there or thereabouts, you know, he should have it wrapped up. So, well, we see a car there just beached into turn number 5 there, coming down off the long straight, which is not a hard thing to do on this track, certainly if you miss your braking point coming down there.
Yeah, this qualifying is going to be mightily important. At the moment, we've got the top 6 in the championship in the top 7 places. Håkon Gribstad being the spoiler, who we've seen a few times, the 2 Norwegians, Gribstad and Herford, just nip into that top results in qualifying, just to cause a bit of a spoiler at the start of the race. Chris Beats half a second back, but this shows the pace of the field. Half a second covering 9 drivers at the moment, and that's over a 2-minute lap. So that shows you how much of a difference it can make. You know, you could pick up a 10th here or there on each corner, and you could be much further upfield, as we see Gribstad pulling to the side. So does Tabone. So this is where the drivers are probably going to just reset and go for another run.
Yeah, definitely. Probably one of the longest tracks on iRacing in a count for time, doing a 2:03 in these GT3 cars. And it's like the story of the season, really, though. You know, the top sort of half of the grid, certainly the top 10 going into the top 15, have all been in 1 second of each other. And that's been sort of the theme of the whole championship. You know, this is a pro series to any newcomers that are joining us on YouTube. So to actually get into this championship, you need to have a minimum iRating of 2.2k, and you know, so that will promote the better driving within the series. You haven't got to contend with the lower amateur drivers, and that's nothing against amateurs, because I am certainly an amateur myself. But you know, for them, they've got a championship after this as well, so they've got their own championship to fight for. But you know, it's been some really good racing, really close racing, and you know, the incidents probably can count on really, you know, one hand the amount of serious incidents we've had within the races. All the drivers being very considerate to each other and giving each other enough room, even though we're in a commentary box, sort of like holding our breath if they're going to get through a corner. They managed to do it.
Yeah, that comes with being a pro driver, to be honest. You don't get 2000 iRating by running into people in collisions. I found that out, as I did with Petit Le Mans at the weekend, and got 41 incident points compared to my teammates getting less than 20. So it just shows the difference if you put the testing in and get the setup stuff right, and you know, you immerse yourself in the game, you can go up to these higher levels, and then you get the cleaner racing. As we see Chris Beats out on track, he is just over half a second back, down in 8th place at the moment, which is normally where we see Chris in qualifying. He comes through stronger in the races, didn't have the best of times last time out, but he has been unbelievably strong throughout the season, and just getting that Lamborghini further up than most other drivers.
Yeah, definitely. He certainly does come on strong in the second half of the races. Normally we see Chris starting to get up through the field, but obviously out in Hungaroring he decided to flip it, and he got up quite far on the first half, but unfortunately I think he had a few incidents at the Hungaroring that put him down. But you know, he is a good driver, and you probably normally see him coming on after the round of pit stops. So, you know, the normal format we do actually see in this, we normally see like a procession for like the first 10-15 minutes. We didn't in the Hungaroring, they sort of mixed it up and there was a lot of action in the first 15. But I'd imagine this sort of track, with the length that it is, it will take a little while, and we'll see a little jostling of positions going, certainly up the straight that we're watching now, the start-finish straight. We see a few lunges down into the first corner. But, you know, it's normally after the round of pit stops we see the big action start happening on track, and that's where we see a lot of passes being made.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry, I just absolutely... Kurt Camilli has just moved up to 2nd place, only 900ths off pole position, and he was sitting down 11th at one point. But I was just seeing his green sectors come up, thought, oh, this could be a good lap, but I didn't expect that, up onto the front row. And that is a spoiler for the championship rivals.
Yeah, that's the first time he's actually been up that far into the grid. He's normally one of our regular mid-pack runners within this championship, but certainly looks like he's been doing his practice and seems very fast, only 900ths of a second off Bogdan Moldovan, who's currently our pole sitter. And that's sort of the end of the 10-minute qualifying. So we will let this drivers complete the laps that they're currently on. But as we see there, Gasella not deciding to take up. Leon Penn still out there, currently sat in 7th place at the moment, only 0.369 of a second off pole. But like we can see there, like the top 13 less than a second after a 2-minute and 3 lap. I mean, that is just insane.
Yeah, it's so close at the moment. Brandon Tabone just about to come across the line. Can he improve his position? No, he doesn't. So he stays down in 5th. Oh no, he doesn't. He moves up to 2nd. So he deposits Kurt onto his 2nd row, and that's onto the front row for Brandon Tabone, just what he needed for his championship. And the top 3 covered by 900ths of a second. So we now see Leon Penn, who's down in 8th, the winner from last time out. No, it's not. Sorry, it's not Leon Penn. It's is that Grossman? Yes, Ronald Grossman coming round. He's looking to try and actually put a lap in, because he hasn't put a time in yet. John Derrick, the only other driver I can see out there trying to finish a lap. Grossman pulls into pit, so let's just see if John Derrick can improve. He's only got one green sector so far, so I doubt this will be an improvement for Derrick as he comes around the final corner, very wide on exit, and he'll head for pits because that will be no improvement. So it's Bogdan Moldovan who takes a morale boost in pole position ahead of Brandon Tabone.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the thing about this track, isn't it? It's so long. It's so easy to get an off track. And if you do, it just invalidates your lap. And if you do it at the start, in the first couple of corners, you've literally got to go around the whole track again before you can start a new lap. So, you know, I think that did play into the hands. And some people getting some good times there. Some people doing exceptional. And probably the worst qualifying position at the moment for Sven Newman down in 4th place. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see as we... watch the drivers all gridding up here on this lap. So an extremely long lap. So we have got plenty of time to talk over things here, Dave. But we'll quickly run through the grid. So pole position sitter Bogdan Moldovan in 1st place. Brandon Tabone in 2nd. Kurt Kamari in 3rd, which is obviously his best qualifying position of the season so far. So great job for him. Sven Newman sat on the 2nd row there in 4th place. John Derrick just behind him in 5th. Aaron Gribstad, great qualifying for him in 6th place. Vital Satu in 7th, Leon Penn in 8th, last winner out of the Angara ring. Chris Beats sat in 9th, this usual position that we do normally see Chris sat in. Emil Gazella, who's new to the Pro Series, only joined us a couple of races ago, so he's doing really well, sat there in 10th. Lewis Ward in 11th, Ostad Herford in 12th. And the back end of your grid, in 13th place, we got Mikhail Paulich. Matthias Beer in his Austin Power car in 14th. Dominic Engel in 15th. Kieran Smart in 16th. Carl Winkler in 17th. And we normally do see at the front end of the grid, but unfortunately had a terrible qualifying. It looks like Ronald Grossman in 18th place. Otto Hertler in 19th. And Adam Brown in 20th. So full grid today of 20 cars, which should make it very interesting when we start this race off in about 2 minutes' time.
Yeah, I think we may have a couple of pit lane starters possibly there because I see Otto didn't put a lap time in, neither did Brown. So maybe they're starting from the pit lane. Not 100% sure on that though. But you can see the grid's just lining up. There comes Beer's car. You can't miss that one. Near the back of the pack, but I think we're not too far off ready to go for this formation lap. And as you say, it's quite a long formation lap, so we've got plenty of time to talk about this race that we've got coming up, this 60-minute race. Yes, Hertler's in the pits, so he will be starting from the pit lane. Whether that's yeah, I'm not sure if that's whether it's through choice or being told to, but
no, they do have pit lane starts, Hertler and Adam Brown. So you're quite correct on that, mate. And that assessment that they did get pit lane starts for incidents in previous rounds.
Yeah, so a naughty boy penalty for them. But as the drivers go around, you never know with formation laps. I mean, I have this on iRacing quite often. You have to be so careful if you decide to stay 2 by 2 throughout the lap that you won't just catch somebody out behind who will run into the back of you and cause some damage. These guys probably won't. The pro drivers are used to it now, but especially around such a long lap, a little bit of loss of concentration and that could be a race over before you've even started.
Yeah, I mean, a prime example with that was did a commentating on the South African 6 hours around Le Mans. Luckily they didn't do the whole lap. They only done the back straight coming down into the Porsche curves. But the 2nd place car literally got clipped as you come around the last corner of Le Mans and spun his car even before the start-finish line. So he started in 2nd and ended up actually going over the line in last place. So very easily to done on these big tracks. You do start losing your concentration. You do start trying to warm them brakes up. Can't really warm the tyres up much, but you see the drivers trying their best to warm them up as best they can do. Due at the low speeds that they are going, it's not really going to warm them up that much. But the brakes certainly you can get warm. But yeah, you start getting into the tunnel vision just watching the car in front, and if you miss him braking and he's trying to do a brake check to warm his brakes up, it's quite easy to go in the back of them, as we see here all the spacing out that the guys are doing. The front lot staying quite close though.
Yeah, they're not quite 2x2 as they come around. We can see Brown's time for the pit lane at the bottom of the screen as well, so that's confirming he will race tonight. But just, especially around corners like this, I always think, oh, should we just go single file and just get round the corner first? But certainly some drivers who will want to stay side by side. I think that is our championship leader Sven Newman deciding to go around the outside, which at this stage of a formation lap and this stage of a race doesn't matter so much, but once the marbles come to the circuit or the dirty side of the track, you won't want to be out there. But the Porsche safety car is taking them round towards what I would call one of two back straights on this circuit, and we'll be releasing them very soon.
Yeah, definitely as I watch him approaching, coming down to Canada corner. So just a quick shout out to one of our free title sponsors for this series, Virtual Racing School. So if you want to improve your on-track performance in iRacing, then head over to virtualracingschool.com. They have over 50 plus data packs for road and oval racing that includes setups and amazing track guides that really detailed on every track that's on there for the car. Data analysis software, so you can see where you're losing time on there, and also you can get one-to-one coaching. So if you want to improve your iRacing experience, head over to virtualracingschool.com and see what they can do. So just coming around now to the last corner, it'd be interesting to see what they do if the front runner leaves it to the last moment or tries to make a dart for it as soon as that pace car goes in.
Yeah, it'll be all down to pole position man to decide the pace from now as the Porsche safety car heads to the pit lane and they roll up the hill. When will Bogdan Moldovan floor the throttle to head over the top of the hill? He's gone on the green flag, and that's a great start by Bogdan Moldovan. He's left to bone, waited. Sven Newman still alongside Camilli, and John Derrick following suit. But yeah, great start by Bogdan and Moldovan there. Newman, Newman tags to bone. Can Tabone hold it? Oh no, he can't. He's round. Brandon Tabone, the guy who was pretty much a man in form, has been spun round by Sven Newman by the looks of things, and that is not good news for Newman either, who will be under investigation for that, I'm certain, by the end of the race. But it's Bogdan Moldovan who has over a second lead at this stage from Kurt Camilli. John Derrick up into third and Newman down to fourth as Camilli has a look for... No, that's Derrick looking for second place, who's still... Remember, Derrick is still in this championship hunt.
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, in this track, you normally do get incidents there around the first corner. The cars are going flat out, trying to get them brakes to work at first corner. And it was good that we only saw the one and the rest of the field. As we see a car there go right. Is that Leon Penn? No, that's Lewis Ward. Sorry, Lewis Ward going a little bit wide there, managing to save it. So did a good job not to spin the car there and not lose too many positions in the meantime. So great off-road skill there from Lewis Ward in the car 97. His heart will be racing a little bit on that one, but this is another corner that you normally see some sort of incident round. You know, extremely fast right-handers. You see cars going out slightly wide, just hitting that grass. Hit that grass too much, and that's where you can spin the car.
Yeah, that's Gribstad challenging Satu side by side through these final sections. Still side by side now. Chris Beats right behind him, trying to take advantage of whichever one makes a mistake, but Gribstad can't quite make the move. Beats under pressure from Gazella, who's now got Penn all over him, and you can see how much. Oh, and wide. Is that Ward again?
It's Winkler.
No, that's Grossman.
Leon Penn.
No, it is Leon Penn. Leon Penn, championship contender. And they're falling by the wayside of Bogdan Moldovan sitting there up front. We've got Moldovan, Derrick, Newman, and then Beats, and then you're looking down to 17th for Penn and Tabone. So, wow, this championship being blown wide open on this opening lap.
Yeah, I mean, we're only 2 minutes into a 60-minute race, so plenty of time for the drivers at the back to make them up. They haven't lost a lot of time. They're still, as you can see there, a great picture there, the big long train that we do see. But one person that has made an exit is Bogdan Moldovan. He was near enough 2 seconds ahead of second place on that last lap, so put out. And what's really laying into his hands here is Kurt Kameri. He's having a storming race there in second place. He's fighting heavily with John Derrick, which will be compromising their lines, which will be giving Bogdan the emphasis to sprint away, and he's taking that and grasping it with both hands to try and get away. So yeah, at the moment Bogdan is 2.9 seconds ahead of Kurt Kameri, who's a newcomer to the top 3 in this championship, doing very well, and probably just slipping down to 4. Sven Newman managing to get up, but Kurt obviously fighting back with Sven Newman, and yeah, nose to tail with these two at the moment. But getting into a stream now, so John Derrick got a little bit of a respite from Kurt, as obviously he's defending heavily from Sven Newman, but 3.8 seconds at the moment. Bogdan Moldovan in front. He's getting out in front and getting that gap open, so the race at the moment seems to be for second, third. Oh, a big issue there. Oh, coming into Canada corner, and that was Situl that got hit there, going on the outside, so he will plummet down. No, it wasn't, it was Kurt Kamari. Ah, no way.
Situl hit Kurt, I think.
Did he? Oh no. We'll have a quick replay here of it. So coming down a bit back at the moment, so we'll get this. So we're coming down into Canada corner here. We've got Kurt Kamari. Oh, there we are. Side by side coming into Canada corner, and unfortunately Situl hits into the back of Kurt and pushes him off the track. That's a devastating blow after the strong start that Kurt made there, and currently back down in 14th place, so I think he'll be seething in his car.
Yeah, but that has helped. Chris Beats up into, well, Hakan Gribstad into 4th, Chris Beats into 5th, and Gazella into 6th, and Pauluch up into 7th, so they're having very good runs early on in this. And there is Matthias Beer leading, with Kurt Kameri just ahead of him, Grossman behind, and then coming up behind them is Leon Penn and Brandon Tabone, who are having to mix it with the pit lane starters Brown and Hertler, as Penn goes round the outside of Grossman. Grossman looking across going, yeah, don't need to fight this one, we know Penn will be quicker, I can follow him. And next up is Matthias Beer for Leon Penn on his comeback charge.
Yeah, I think the drivers heard what I said on the commentary and making another fool out of me here, because it's been certainly a lot of action in this first opening 5 minutes of this 60-minute race. You know, a lot of drivers getting hit. We can sort of see all the front runners down the back end of the field now with all the incidents that we have got, and it has promoted people that are not normally at the front of the grid up there. So we've got Gribstad in 4th. Chris Beats obviously getting up quite well at the start of this race into P5. And Gazella, like I said, is a newcomer to the Pro Series, currently sat in 6th place, so an outstanding couple of rounds for him to welcome him in, obviously get him ready for the next series on here, but holding down his skills and certainly mixing it very much with the guys that have been in the series all along.
Yeah, and right on the back of this train is Lewis Ward, who we saw going off on the opening lap, so that shows you how quickly he can recover. There's Lewis Ward at the back of this group, and he's 7 seconds off the lead, but this is the perfect confidence booster for Bogdan Moldovan at this stage. He really needed that sort of dominant performance, and for the first 6 minutes he's certainly given that, almost 4.5 seconds in the lead. Really needs these not to start working together though, because this is such a big train of cars. If they want to work together, they will catch him very quickly. Further back, Brandon Tabone has just caught the back of the pack, so he is there with Brown and Hertler just off the back, but they are ready to start moving forward now, as Leon Penn already is, and to up the inside of Paulich. That was late.
Nice, though.
It was a very nice move, but a very, very late move. Paulich would never have seen that coming in a month of Sundays.
No, I mean, that's certainly a corner that you can gain in position with, but you've got to be extremely brave and understanding that your brakes coming in that corner that fast, because if you do get it wrong, that wall in front of you and obviously the gravel track can pretty much write your car off. But, you know, add confidence there over his braking abilities going into that and making a rather excellent move there on Paulic to Satul. So great position made there by Satul, and he seems to have got the bit between his teeth and just trying to push it on. You know, what is interesting is like we said at the start, you know, these front runners, you got John Derrick, Sven Newman and Bogdan Moldovan at the front here, you know, their drop round scores are pretty terrible. Oh, there's a big incident there. Who's
17, it's Penn.
Oh, no. 20th place, be interesting. It's that fast corner coming out of the kink there, which does catch cars off as we watch here, coming out of the carousel, coming down to the kink.
I think he's just
near a
run
flat
wide.
off. I think he possibly has. There's no cars around him.
Oh.
Yeah, literally took that grass on the inside a little bit too hard. Looks like he's got away with minor damage or minimal damage on that, but easily done on that corner. You've got to be brave into there. Was that an engine smoke in there I saw?
That was Tabone, I think, going really slowly. Have a look here. It's Tabone alongside. Oh, yes.
Ooh.
Oh. That was Grossman and Tabone, that was. And that's Tabone with massive damage and Grossman. So, as you can see, the time marks where. You can see the time marks where Tabone's gone. Tabone off, off into the next state. The speed he was carrying into that corner. Both in the pit lane now. And when I said Brandon Tabone and Leon Penn were the men on form, yeah. Sorry, guys.
Proving all wrong. All proving us wrong. It'll be interesting to see on board there with Brandon Tabone, because that was a very weird crash, because it was down the straight coming into the canopy corner. Were they actually just moving to try and push? I think it was on the inside, just trying to push him too far on the inside, and unfortunately clipped him. But that was a huge crash here between Brandon Tabone and Grossman. You know, one thing the drivers do have, in fact, here we go, let's have a quick look here. So coming down the inside, trying to push it on the inside, Mateus Beer in front. Oh, very strange. Was that Grossman that went?
Yeah, it was Ronald Grossman.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there with Grossman. It seemed like Grossman hit the back of Tabone there and spun them both around. But
I mean, just looking at it from that on board and knowing the part of the circuit, either Grossman's misjudged it, or there's been a couple of netcode issues there, possibly, because
there we go. Let's have a look.
Here we go. He's on board with him. Yeah, he's just pulled across a little bit too early, I think, and there's no way either can stop it once they're on the grass.
No, not at all. It looked like he didn't see him or didn't know he was there, which would be very strange, because he almost tried to get over to the left there to make that Canada corner, because you need to get over to the left to open up that corner, or else you lose a lot of time. But yeah, interesting. But what it does do is it puts Brandon Tabone and Ronald Grossman right at the back of the field now, literally half a lap back, and not good. But like I was saying, you know, these drivers do have one fast repair per 60-minute race. So luckily Grossman, as we saw there, his engine was smoking, but it got a, you know, super duper McLaren, it'd be even a Red Bull pit stop and get out in like 2 seconds with a brand new engine in. So yeah, luckily he's got the Red Bull pick through in his box to get that engine changed in 2 seconds.
Yeah, back up front, I've noticed Derek and, well, Gribstad's got past Newman, and the gap is not closing up. Derek's managed to get away, but he's not actually closing on Bogdan Moldovan. The gap's staying the same there, and Moldovan is still pulling away from Gribstad, and Newman now 6 seconds back, with Chris Beats looking at the back of him. So Newman not quite got outright pace here at this very second. You can see the times at the bottom. Fastest lap of the race went to Moldovan on the second lap.
I was going to say his lap wasn't there. Yeah, I was going to say the best lap on a time tile so was 2:04.45. Unless he obviously had an off track and it hasn't registered it on our timing, but
yeah,
you know,
possibly.
Quite possibly, but the last lap was 1,000th of a second between the two. So, you know, Bogdan still giving a really good pace. John Derrick matching him. Oh, as we see, they're coming round into the kink, coming out of the carousel there from Smart, nearly getting it all wrong. Luckily, managing to recover for the kink, which, as we saw before, can catch drivers out coming down here into Canada Corner. It's a great corner, this one on the track. You know, it really tests the driver. How far do you push out wide? You know, because if you hit that sand on the right hand side, you can spin the car quite easy. I love this section of the course.
Yeah, it's just it's a great course altogether. It really challenges drivers with every type of corner. But look at this queue of cars. You can see this is Dominic Engel near the back of the pack, just behind Carl Winkler. And I think this goes up to about 6th place, this queue does. So just shows that strategy is going to come into play here as Matthias Beer makes his way past Kurt Kamari, who is really struggling after his opening gambit of a strong time up. Oh, Adam Brown pushing hard after his pit lane start, and maybe a little too hard with that one.
He saved that very well. I thought he was going to see the wall there, but managed to save it there coming out of turn number 1. But yeah, these front runners at the moment, you know, Bogdan just getting out in front at the moment, 4.6 seconds, extending it slightly over John Derrick in second place. But yeah, he's managed to get away from the pack, break the slipstream now, so it's down to John Derrick trying to fight back with, and it's just down to pure pace on the track. You know, we've got the BMW against the Lamborghini for first and second, so it'll be interesting to see. But John Derrick has still got Gribstad right on his tail, with Sven Newman not far behind him. So, you know, he's got to keep one eye behind him on the cars behind and in front of him. He can't even see Bogdan at the moment. Obviously, will do when he gets on the long straights, but we'll see how far out in front he is.
Yeah, since that mix-up at start, Chris Beats has been keeping himself quiet just on the back of these 4 here, and it'll be interesting to see whether he has the pace, because obviously, like we say, the second half of races are always better for him. So could he be a podium challenger later on in this race? As we see Ronald Grossman, he's having an adventurous day, isn't he? The German just having another incident out there, no bonnet on his car, and yes, he's now 10 seconds off Brandon Tabone at the back of the pack. But credit to Tabone and Grossman, that was a big incident, and they both just got back, got it fixed, and tried to get on with it, as we now see Grossman quit to the pits, and that might be him done for the day.
Yeah, I mean, that's his second incident, so he won't have his fast repair anymore, and long, you know, pit recovery back from this track. You're talking probably 4 or 5 minutes, so, you know, if you can get out and it's not too much damage, but looking at that, there was a quite extensive amount of damage. As long as he can stay within 3 laps of the lead driver, he will still score points within this session. So, but I think that's probably his race done for today, which is unfortunate. He was caught up in quite a few incidents there in the opening 15 minutes of this race. So just a quick shout out to our viewers on YouTube. So Drive Dead 12 is rooting for Leon Penn. Unfortunately, he's not had the best start there, Drive Dead, but I'm sure he'll fight back up as he see him in 9th place at the moment. Thomas McDonald says, good luck, guys. Kieran Cart says, nice. And M1M1, good evening. So good evening to you as well. And people asking us to say, please say Chutu. I don't know what that's referring. Chutu. I think that's how you say it. From it's a Bogdan, is that Camaro Bogdan? Is that, are you related to Bogdan Modan? Or is it just a similar name? But yeah, big shout out to our YouTube followers on here. If you are liking the broadcast, then please give us that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We have plenty of series here on Apex Racing TV, following all classes of cars, from the lonely ones of the Formula V all the way up to the Formula Renault we're running at the moment as well. So all the cars in between, all catered for here on Apex Racing TV. So head over to apexracingtv.com/schedules, and you've got a breakdown. But if you click that bell, you'll get notified when we go live here on Apex Racing TV, and that's pretty much every night, sometimes up to 3 times a night. So just click that bell, that thumbs up, much appreciated. As we join back on track here now, Gribstad getting onto the back of John Derrick. So the slight advantage that John Derrick had there in second place, he has lost it all, and we've got Gribstad here that could make a move down into turn 5 on this extremely long straight. Should pull up behind him with the slipstream, but we'll sort of see the power difference between the Lambo and the Porsche, as we see the Porsche here closing up very tightly, coming down into turn 5. Will he make a lunge, or no? He's keeping it nice and clean through here, just biding his time. But one person who's not is Lewis Ward, trying to get down the inside of Casella for the P8 position. So Lewis Ward hot on the brakes, managing to keep that inside line and getting the pass done. So great pass there for 8th place over Casella, who unfortunately just went out a little bit too wide and might get caught here again by Hereford on the inside. So that's possibly 2 places, but it has the inside track here for turn number 7. Oh! Getting a bit of a helping hand there, Hereford, from behind. Managing to keep it, though, so still managing to be on that train, but that was a little bit of a late punt at the back there.
Yeah, I think it just all concertinaed up behind Gazella. Seeing Hereford in this race actually gives me the thoughts of letting you all know how hard it is to beat some of these people. Obviously, Austin Hereford, we don't see him winning the race all the time, but he is a very good driver in this field. I was in a practice lobby the same time as him at for Petit Le Mans, and I think I ended up in a practice session with Leon Penn as well, and I could get absolutely nowhere near them. Now, I'm not saying I'm a brilliant driver myself and really quick, but it just sort of shows the skills of these drivers in terms of pace, that it isn't easy to just jump on and go at the pace these guys do. They put in a lot of practice, keeps their races clean, and that is why they've got this over 2000 I rating.
Yeah, definitely. It probably doesn't show the speed, but obviously if any of you viewers have watched the Series 1 and Series 2 of the GT Trophy, where we had the mix of the pros and the AMs, and you see the pros catching the AMs within sort of like 15 to 20 minutes on there, you appreciate the speeds they're going at. It's sort of a false thing here, because obviously all the drivers are driving that quick around this track that it gives an impression that they're not really pushing it as much, but they certainly are. I mean, try and do the lap times that these guys are doing, I'll be nowhere near it. I wouldn't be. I'll be getting overtaken, that's for sure. But you know, these guys putting on a really good show here tonight, and you know, they just won't let up till that final flag happens. And we've still got the interesting conundrum of the pit stops to come, which always throws big spanners in the work for drivers, and some have big gains, some have long gains. So what do you think tonight, Dave? What do you reckon is going to be the winning process in the pit stop? Earlys, middles or lates? There we go.
It depends if we can get anywhere near Bogdan Moldovan, to be fair. I think for me, I would always just go in the middle, personally, unless you're sort of stuck in a train like this. But if you're stuck in a train like this, you're not looking at trying to win a race or anything. You're just trying to look to gain a few positions in the pit stops, maybe get ahead of this pack and use your pace later on. But you've always got that critical thing that you're going to be longer in the pit stop. Just to go back to the YouTube chat, the Andrei Bogdan manages Walk Racing, which is why he can tell us exactly how to say Shutu's name. I think it's good that we got. It's good that we've got to the penultimate round and we're still getting names wrong.
Chitinium. Oh. It's always nice when we are obviously...
We'll get it right by the final round.
Yeah, native English speakers, and some of these European names do flummox us here on the commentary, so we always appreciate being corrected on how to correctly pronounce people's names. There's nothing worse than hearing your name pronounced wrong. So
I'll tell you what we'll have to do. On the next sign-up form, we'll have to have a thing saying surname and then pronunciation.
Yeah, I did it for
we could have all the forms.
Yeah, I did it for the Mazda, and there was a couple on there that I didn't have a clue how to pronounce. So I asked them, how do you pronounce your name? And one of them recorded his name and said, this is how you pronounce it. And it was so good. I was like, that's how you say it. It was really good. I thought, that's a good addition. So yeah, might get them to come on, send us a clip of their voice and how to pronounce their second names.
Well, you mentioned Curve Karts, commenting on the stream. Hello, Curve, as well. I've commentated on him previously, and I looked at his name, his full name, and was just like, no, I haven't got a clue. And then he sent me the voice message, like you just said. So, and I don't think I've ever got it wrong since. So
Ooh, don't say that.
it is a good way to do it. But anyway, back to the race, and John Derrick has closed this gap. He's dragging Gribstad and Newman with him. It's down to 3.5 seconds to Moldovan, and these four are slightly dropping Chris Beats, but Moldovan might be just pacing it at this stage. He's only dropping a tenth or two at the moment per lap, so he might be just pacing it, ready for the pit stops, because he has a big enough lead to not really worry about an overcut or an undercut at the moment, because he's got no traffic and he's just pacing himself for now.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's exactly right. You know, this is an extremely long track and it is quite brutal on the tyres. So anything you can save the tyres being a lot smoother on corners, you know, will save you at the end of the race and make you that little bit faster. Because these drivers will not take tyres in the pit stop. That's guaranteed. They will just literally go the full 60 minutes on the same set of tyres. So, you know, to try and make that little bit of saving now will pay dividends come the end of the race. Certainly if John Derrick can get onto the back of Bogdan Moldovan, but then the tyres will come into play, and then if Bogdan is doing that tyre saving move, then he will come off stronger in the latter half of this race. So just about into a quarter, just coming up to nearly 7 minutes away from halfway in this race. So we normally see the undercutters or the ones trying to go for the really low in the next minute or so will be coming in to try that super early pit stop to see what they can do. And in the past we've seen it work and we've seen it fail, so it'd be interesting to see what happens in this race.
Yeah, we're currently just looking at battle with Gazella, Smart and Winkler. Winkler, one of the biggest movers so far, moving up to 6 places. I'm just having a look. We've also got Paulich up 6 places and Smart's up 6 places as well. So some good movers in the pack, obviously helped by the issues for Brown and Tabone, but they're starting to move forward. Haven't seen much progress from Hertler and Kamari at the moment because they're down in 15th and 16th. Obviously Otto started from pits. Kamari had that incident earlier on and seems to be pushing maybe a little too hard by the looks of that, and maybe he just needs to calm it down a touch as he aims to bring that BMW back through the pack. Remember, he started 3rd on the grid and he was running 2nd earlier on, so he has the pace but seems to be tied up behind or entranced by the multicoloured Matthias Beer car in front. And you know, I mean, who wouldn't want to sit behind it and look at that paint livery all day?
Certainly on an hour-long race anyway, you might get a bit spaced out by the end. But you know, one thing that we're not seeing at the moment is, you know, we can't see any physical damage on that car, but he did have a big off coming down into Canada corner, so he may be carrying some damage, and it might not be until after the pit stop that we see him back at full pace. Because what sort of lap times is he doing? So his last lap time was a 2:05.1, so you know, a little bit slower than the cars around him, so he might be actually carrying some damage there on that car. But it'd be interesting to see as we currently watch on stream. Kirk Murray there, can't see any damage this ring.
Yeah, I'm surprised to not see that much damage on the car considering the pace he went off into that wall. But yeah, no, it looks
okay.
It's almost brand new. I mean, I wouldn't buy it out the showroom, but it's not bad. As Gazella is now under pressure here from Kieran Smart. Side by side, Smart gets through. Next up will be Winkler in this battle of the BMWs.
Just looking where he is. Yeah, it started, so he's back into 10th place where he actually started this race. So he's where he was at the start. So he's still doing a fine job out there. Obviously got up to 6th place at one stage. Slightly falling back a little bit now with the usual front runners trying to get through to the front half of the grid, but doing a sterling job there as we're watching Kieran Smart, who's very lucky to still be racing where he currently is, as we saw him have a big. Oh, there was a car there that spun at the background. That
Engel.
That was. Oh no!
Dominic Engel.
Infamous kink curve got somebody else.
Yeah, it seems to be catching quite a few people out. We go on board with him. Does he clip the outside or the inside? Just inside again. Exactly the same as Leon Penn, and in the Porsche again. But he slides to the inside barrier, unlike Penn, who slid to the outside barrier. So Porsches don't like that corner one bit, as we now see Gazella going back past Kieran Smart. This isn't really helping him in terms of race time, but it's good fun for them all. And Carl Winkler trying to follow Gazella through. and it looks like he will. So Winkler will move up into the top 10, and probably, I'd say, his best run since probably round 2, just before he missed a couple of races. He was running second to his teammate Newman in that one. But this is probably back to a bit more form for Carl Winkler, who missed a few races after, I think it's round 3 and 4 he missed, as we have Engel in the pits now. No surprise after that crash. Get any damage repaired and get your pit stop out of the way. Just ahead of him on the timing screen, Leon Penn is about 7 seconds away from catching the back of the pack, which is Brown after his pit lane start. So it's a race of catch-ups at the moment. Tabone moves past Engel, but we're probably expecting Tabone to have to pit again. He did pit very early, so I'm not sure whether he'll be able to fuel to the end in that sort of situation. But now we head forward to Gribstad, who's continuing to push John Derrick along, and they are dropping Sven Newman and bringing the gap to Bogdan Moldovan to lower than 3 seconds, as John Derrick runs very wide there, pushing very hard, and probably the best showing we've seen from Gribstad this year. You know, he's qualified well and moved up every now and again, but this is certainly his strongest run so far. But I don't want to say too much, because we don't want to put commentators' curse on him.
Don't do that curse, mate. Yeah, but no, we saw there John Derrick coming out of the key, you know, using every millimeter of track there, getting on the outside. You know, he's dicing with that that spin of death coming around that corner. But at the moment, he's sort of mastered the art of where to put that Lamborghini on that corner to get the most out, and you know, always bringing down the time now. So only down to 2.9 seconds, was 4.5 about 10 minutes ago. So they're managing to pull Bogdan Moldovan back into the pack, and this is where we see all the early pit stoppers sort of getting towards the midway of the race. But you know, Dominic Engel, that's a bit of a strange, you know, why has he used his fast repair already? I'm not sure, but you know, where if you're gonna have a crash, have it now, guys, because this is into the pit stop window, so you can get your pit stop, get the fast repair done, and do it. So if you are going to have an incident, probably now is the best time to do it, so then you can repair your time and limit the amount of time you're in the pit lane, because this is an extremely long pit lane as well, so you will be losing so much time if you have to go in there apart from your pit.
Yeah, I'd probably, if I was Leon Penn right now down in 16th, I'd probably take my pit stop and go for it, because at the moment you're going to catch bits of a pack in about 5-6 laps time. I know that's quite long around here, it's probably about 10 minutes, but if you get in now, you're going to have clear space for a very long time in this race before people pit, because normally the early teens try and run as long as they can. So it'd be interesting to see whether he decides to pit early on and drop behind. Well, he'll drop behind Herford, maybe ahead of Engel at the moment, and then can put on a little bit of a charge in his clear air, because he's got the pace.
Yeah, he's definitely about a second a lap faster than the guys that are in front of him, so he'll certainly got onto the back of them within 2 or 3 laps. But yeah, that may be something that he could do to try and salvage something from this race at the moment and try and get him up into the mid-pack. But you know, one guy that is doing an outstanding race at the moment. Oh, what's happened?
Moldovan in the pits.
So Moldovan coming in for his pit lane, which promotes John Derrick Gribstad to a first and second place. So yeah, it's relatively probably early in the pit stop realms that Bogdan's doing that, but he's deciding that this is where he wants to be, and he's making it. As we see a lot of cars coming in the pit now: Chateau, Paulich, Ward, Gazella, Hertela, Beer, all coming into the pits for their pit stop, which will be the one and only pits, just taking in some fuel to get them to the end of the race, and that'll be it done. So be interesting to see who the winner of the pit stop battle is, earlys or lates.
Yeah, if John Derrick ever pits before 35 minutes, you know there's something wrong with his car. He always is one of the last to pit, along with Chris Beats normally. So we'll see John Derrick's pace now. Can he drag Gribstad along, and maybe Newman can just hang on to his coattails and close that gap? But Derrick pushing hard now, maybe too hard, and that's putting Gribstad on his tail. So could hack on Gribstad take the lead of this race in a minute. Looking at his pace, I would honestly probably think about pitting this time by it, or doing what Derrick doesn't do. So if Derek pits, you carry on. If you can, obviously, due to fuel. Penn, taking a little bit of my advice, getting in the pits, but probably didn't expect so many people to pit at the same time. Tabone, also in the pit lane, we did think he would have to pit again. So the leader of the pit stops is Moldovan in 9th at the moment, 44 seconds off the lead. I'm not sure how long a full pit stop time takes. I'm just having a look at Tabone's time at the bottom. But he seems to be taking quite a while in there. The other thing to notice with this pit lane is you lose a lot of time. The cars are completely flat out along the pit straight when you're in the pit lane, and you do lose a lot of time as in comes Derek, Gribstad and Newman and Beats all together. So I think this is probably as far as you can go with the fuel mileage, and we'll see possibly the next 4 cars all pit in as well. So it's a race between pit crews here on pit road.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like obviously it was 60 seconds there for Brandon Tabone, but obviously I think he might have took a bit of repairs there. So not sure how long it is, but we'll watch where Bogdan is. So all of the drivers in front of Bogdan, apart from Kurt Kamari, who's promoted himself to first place. So at least he'll get 1 lap in first place of this race after the terrible start we had. But here's Bogdan just coming around the last corner to start the start-finish. So should take this lead again comfortably, but it'd be interesting to see where he is in respect to John Derek, as John Derek's just coming out. So John Derek was at the front, so it'll be very close and very interesting now to see with us. So side by side coming out just in, so I think it's going to be around about the same amount of time that it was previous with Moldovan and Derek in first and second, but we won't get a true representation until the next time when our timing tower has managed to catch up with the fact that John Derek pitted on that last lap. But you can sort of see how close now John is to Bogdan going in, but still a sizable gap there, still out of that slipstream route, so won't be getting that full slipstream benefit of Moldovan in front, so he just needs to call himself back up, I think.
Yeah, it's generally looking about the same. John Derek may be a little closer to Moldovan. Looks like the gap's about 1.5 seconds, but he was closing that gap anyway, and will have gained a bit in the pit stop. Ribstad's lost about 1.5 seconds to Derek, so maybe Derek's gone a little short on fuel to try and move forward and look into fuel save later on. And Newman is a lot closer to Gribstad, so it looks like it's Chris.
Biggest loser, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like Chris Beats has lost a bit of time to the back of Newman as well, but let's see if he can put on his normal late race charge. In 6th place at the moment, and it's just to see when Kamari pits. I mean, he's doing a great job on fuel mileage, especially after his accident. He probably comes in this time by, yes he does, but has stretching that just made it a long enough pit stop that he's going to gain a few positions from where he was. I think he was about 15th before the pit stop started, so let's see what happens on this very wide pit lane.
I mean, he should do. If you look at the timing tower there, you know, if we reckon it's around about 45 seconds, he could be fighting sort of 10th, 11th or 12th, so he might have jumped 3 positions here, so it'll be interesting to see when he comes out. So right at the front of the pit stop, so he'll be 3rd in line there as we watch him come to a halt. So literally just has to come out the pits and go as we watch Moldovan just pass Kamari and John Derek at the moment. So these two really close, 1.1 seconds. So John Derek really close at the time, but what I was saying there before I really interrupted you, Dave, was Gribstad seems to be the biggest loser. He was right on the back of John Derek. He is now about 3 seconds behind. So, you know, taking that little bit of extra fuel. So it'd be interesting to see on this track, because this is one of the tracks, if you get that extra lap where you go over that 60 seconds, that could really hurt you on the fuel calculator if you haven't budgeted for that extra lap at the end.
Yeah, it could do. I mean, it's, what, 2 minutes 4 roughly for the fastest drivers. So Gribstad was one of the quickest before the pit stops. Maybe he pushed his tyres a little bit too hard as well. Maybe, you know, don't think he would have took tyres, but you never know. If he's got the quickest pit stop in the West, he could be all right. John Derek now down to 1.3 seconds to Moldovan. So he is closing in. But is Moldovan got enough in hand to respond to this? He does seem to be on a bit of a Tuesday night cruise at the moment, Moldovan, since that early pace, he's just dropped like a couple of tenths a lap to the drivers behind. He's going to have to get back on it now if he wants to take victory here at Road America.
Yeah, and John Derek will be starting to get into that slipstream areas. Watching the background, John Derek every single lap touching that outside, getting the car a little bit squirrely, but always managing to save it. But what that's doing is that is closing the gap to Bogdan in front of him, who's taking more of a conservative line through there. We don't see any dust getting kicked up off off John Derek, but so John Derek's certainly on the charge. And as we talked about in the past, you know, where would you rather be, in first or second? And I'll open that up to our viewers. Where would you rather be, first or second? I mean, I think from us commentators here, we both prefer to be second so we can chase down that first place and put him under a lot of pressure. So as we've seen in the past, you know, Bogdan, when he's come into the interview rooms, he said that I felt that guy behind me the whole lap, and it was really stressful just trying to keep it on the track. So it's very much a psychological if you're seeing that second place guy come in ever closer to you in first place.
Yeah, that's, to be honest, that's why I thought we would have seen Bogdan disappear into the distance today when he got that early lead, because John Derek, he's always quicker in the second half of races, long with crisp beats, and once he got into second place, it was obvious it was going to close to some extent. Moldovan obviously trying to control his tyres a little bit in the first half of the race. You don't want to kill him early on, but I just think maybe he didn't take advantage enough early on with his pace and just kept it a little bit too consistent rather than pushing on, getting that lead so that pressure wasn't on him at this stage. Because this circuit is very easy. Like, we see the dust keep kicking up. Clip the dust, you have issues, you spin out, and even a half spin or a run, just a gravel drawing you off the track can be enough to lose a position when it's this close.
Yeah, it's only down to 0.9 of a second, so, you know, just closing the gap all the time. Be really good on board here, watching him go through the kink and just see if he actually gets off the power going through there. But if it is, it's going to be for the slightest. No, literally, I mean, you can see it there again, getting right out to that left-hand side, coming out that kink and coming down into Canada corner. So see him right over to the left, switch into the right, try to cut the curb on the inside to get that good exit on the out of Canada corner to get a really good slingshot up here. But yeah, great camera views here of John Derek trying to chase down Bogdan Moldovan, who's currently our first place guy in this race, and there's only 20 minutes left to go of this, and he's closing it every single lap by probably about a tenth, 2 tenths a lap. So, you know, within a couple of laps, there's certainly going to be a battle here for first and second place.
I think that onboard camera shows the difference between AM drivers and pro drivers. I can freely admit that as soon as I saw that curb coming to the side, my foot was lifting off that throttle, whereas John Derek had it absolutely pinned and thought, well, if I run wide, I run wide, whereas I'll be going, no, don't want to go there. So that's the difference between these guys. They know that they can do that and get away with it, or they can do that and successfully get around the corner quickly. As we now watch Matthias Beer, who's on a bit of a move now. He's up to 12th place and challenging Carl Winkler. It's good to see Matthias on a good run here. Again, not trying to put the commentator's curse on you, but it's a very good run by Beer. He's got ahead of Kieran Smart, who was battling Gazella for 10th, so he's not had a good run through the pit stops phase. And further back, Leon Penn still 2 seconds off the back of the pack, so Leon Penn really not looking at maybe trying to drop this result. I'm just having a look at his championship. He already has a 15th to drop. So this will become his drop round at the moment. So every position will count for Leon Penn, I think. And the other driver near the back is Brandon Tabone, who is actually dropping an 8th at the moment. So it's not so bad for Brandon, who, if he finishes here, will use this as his drop round and score an 8th place finish. So while it's not ideal to be 8th, at least it's better than scoring for 18th.
Yeah, it certainly is. And obviously with our would you rather be first or second, Andrew Bogdan is saying the track's position is king. So there's his answer is he'd rather be out in front. But yeah, everybody's different on iRacing, so it's Yeah, I suppose if you're out front, you know, it's up to you to make the mistake. If you keep it clean, the driver behind you's got to make the mistake. As we watched there,
Speaking
a
of
little
mistakes,
bit of wide. Carl Winkler coming around the Canada corner, taking a little bit wide. Luckily not spinning it, but losing 2 positions in the process as Hereford manages to get past him as well as Smart. So losing 2 positions by that slight little mistake there at Canada corner. What's here? Adam Brown,
that's
a bit of a
I
terrible
think he's had a
one,
spin
isn't it?
down there. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Coming in a little bit too hot there, probably into Canada corner, but I'll let you take this one, Dave.
Yeah, I think he's probably clipped the curb on. No, not on the grass on the entry. So I've got that wrong. Oh, that's a strange one to lose it that easily without actually touching the grass. But well recovered. Leon Penn goes through up into 16th, and Adam Brown, it continues on as we can see Hereford on the inside. Oh, and Winkler touching each other. Winkler, oh, just manages to hold the car on the track, and here comes Otto Hurtler, who's slowly moving through the field from his pit lane start. But that was a bit of contact. What happened here? Good one run by Winkler down the outside, and then, oh, Hereford, does he squeeze him or does he just leave him a car's width by the looks of it? And the 2 cars just get together and both continue on like nothing happened.
Yeah, not so Hurtler there saying, thank you very much, guys. I'll take them 2 positions gladly, but only managing to get past Winkler and just keeping up. So Hereford managed to get out that corner with a little bit more speed than what he would have had. So we got Metal Chutanu. Hopefully I've pronounced that right. I'm sure he'll let us know if we haven't. Here in 6th place, fighting very hard with Michael Powlich in 7th at the moment. So he's having a great race at the moment. He always Mr. Consistent is Chatu. He's always there or thereabouts in the top half of the field. Not quite getting the probably podium positions that he probably feels he warrants, but certainly always a high contender in the top half of the field.
Yeah, he's always got a bit of pace. Normally there's the odd mistake in the race which just costs him a chance at a podium, but he's had a clean run so far today. But here we are at the front. Bogdan Moldovan is now under huge pressure as John Derrick runs wide. He keeps doing that, keeps getting away with it, but you can't count your chickens that many times before it will let go. So he really needs to just watch out that running wide. There is Gribstad and Newman in the background, but it's all about these lead 2. 3/10 of a second. Derrick is in the slipstream well and truly now. Moldovan might have to defend, not this time. Derrick's still trying to move forward towards close, and you can see that the times haven't been that much different since Derrick's pit stop. But it's enough to just close that gap, then get the slipstream, and then actually seem like a huge threat rather than just one in the wing mirror that John Derrick was earlier on.
Yeah, just before we get into the heated battle of this first place, there's a quick shout out to one of our other main sponsors, Apex Racing Academy. So they themselves have 29 data packs full of setups, track guides, and it's fully integrated with the VRS setup that we said earlier on. So they are fully integrated. So if you get the both of them, they talk to each other and give you the complete package. They also do weekly coaching sessions, plus many more. Please head over to apexracingac.com. There's a blunder if you ever heard one. So yeah, as we head back here now to this first place battle, John Derrick all over the back, keeping it 0.3 of a second behind Bogdan Moldovan. So I think he's going to struggle, Dave, coming up the start-finish straight to hold John Derrick off. So I think it's going to be the slipstream race here from here on out, because they seem to be matching each other quite closely on pace for the rest of the track.
Yeah, well, Bogdan Moldovan hasn't won since the opening round, and John Derrick won in round 3 at Montreal. So these 2 drivers definitely want a race victory, so they will be battling hard for this. Moldovan goes to the inside, makes Derrick try to look around the outside. He won't make it around the outside of there. He'll live to fight another day. Will he look for the cut back on the exit? Probably not, the way Derrick's been driving very wide out of there. Moldovan again defending. And if you can defend and put your car in the right position, you can make it very hard for the other driver, as he will now send Derrick to the right-hand side of the circuit on purpose, because yes, the track turns right, but Moldovan will still have the inside line at the next braking area, and it's crucial to get right on the inside of here, because it's downhill. You can go deep. Looks like he might have just managed to do it. Yes, he does that very nicely there, Moldovan. And it looks like John Derek needs to have that wider exit on every corner, which is quite crucial for Bogdan, because you know that Derek isn't going to be able to try a half-hearted cut back on a corner and get underneath you towards the next corner. He looks like he really needs that wider exit just to get the speed out of the Lamborghini, and that will certainly help Moldovan know that there's one place where he's not going to be challenged at this stage. But then Derek might just put him in a full sense of security and then pull that exact same move off.
Yeah, definitely. I think, what John Derek could do is actually set up Bogdan here for a pass in that, as Bogdan's being super defensive, certainly going forward. We see Chris Beats in 5th place taking the cross-country route there, coming out of the kink, managing to save it, luckily, coming through there, so managing to keep his 5th place. But yeah, John Derek could set him up, because Bogdan's going really defensive in that first corner, could set him up really well for that. Feint to the inside that he's going to go in, push Bogdan more towards the inside of the track, come out wide and take that normal line through turn 1, and by cutting that corner, Bogdan will shave off a load of speed coming through that, and can get the pass done on the overcut, coming down into turn 1, or certainly coming out of turn 3 on that long back straight here. But what we're watching on stream at the moment is a battle for 13th, with Hereford currently in 13th, Hurtela in 14th, and Carl Winkler. So these three having a proper little battle here in the mid to end pack at the moment. Nothing really separating them. So will we see a move here for Hurtela coming down into the first corner on Hereford? Just having a little sneak peek, but a little bit too far back at the moment. But these three evenly matched pacers. We head up the field just there to 6th place with Natosha too. And Michael Palic here having a really good battle over 6th place, which is coming on the inside of the track. Getting that inside, let's see if he can manage to keep it. Managing to get to the outside as Palic breaks a little bit earlier than him, and managing to keep that first place. So a lot of the guys now going defensive onto that turn 5, which seems to be paying off for a lot of drivers, where they can't get that overspeed coming around the corner. But as we see, Palic all over the back of Chateau at the moment. So real big battle here for 6th place, with a bit of a gap in front of Chateau to Chris Beats in 5th, 8 seconds at the moment. So Chris sort of in no man's land at the moment, 5 seconds behind Sven Newman, and 8 seconds ahead of Chateau in 6th. So he's just having a nice little quiet race, but we didn't really see him come a cropper around the kink on the last lap. So just need to keep it clean, and he'll have 5th place. I wonder if that's
I'm not sure if I'm not sure if the Romanians have had a class in defence round here, but we've got Moldovan, Sutiu, and Gazella all having to defend around this circuit at this time, and they're all doing a similarly good job. So I don't know if they've all been round together trying to practice how to defend around here. But here's John Derek. There's a little gap on the inside. Oh, he could have risked it there, but didn't want to do it. So he went to the outside, and he's going to look for a cutback on Bogdan Moldovan. Not quite going to make it down into turn 2, so he's going to look at the long back straight again, down to turn 3, and we'll just see what happens here. On board with Derek as he heads down the straight under the bridge. He's closing. Moldovan goes to the inside, as we all expect. Will Derek just break that little bit? Oh, he tries to dummy. But not quite close enough to pull that off. And Moldovan lives to fight another day and extends his gap to a little bit more. Here is Pavlich now, getting ready to try the same kind of move. Again, breaks early to look for the cutback. Ward and Calamari is close behind. Oh, that's a lovely cutback by Pavlich, and he's made it move. He shoves his Romanian counterpart out the way, and the German Pavlich is up to 6th place, and now Ward is all over the back of Chateau. So it's going to be close into sort of a carousel section. No, he doesn't make it through, so it's 7th, 8th and 9th. And look how quick Powlich has scampered away in front of his group.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that is quite good, and I'm quite pleased of, is Kurt Kamari there in 9th place. Obviously had that terrible spin on the first lap, but managing to get the positions back up. So, you know, you can see he's definitely got pace around this track, probably one of the tracks he really enjoys. He's currently sat there in 9th place at the moment, only 5 seconds off this battle here that we're currently watching. So, if I just kiss a death in my arm, haven't I? Oh, no way. I'll be quiet now.
That is a huge hit into a concrete wall there, and I think who else was involved in that? Let's have a look what happens here. Does he just make a mistake himself? No, he a little naughty bite. Who was that behind him? Not quite sure who that was. It was a late braking move into the back of him, and he had absolutely nowhere to go. And was it Gazella or Smart who ran into the back of him? I'm not sure which.
I think it was Gazella, because obviously he's in 10th place at the moment, but I think it was Gazella, unfortunately, coming down there into Cannon's corner. So again, unfortunately, Kurt Kamari coming to the victim of circumstances above his control, but you know, all fair play to him. He's you know, keep fighting back. Currently in 15th place at the moment. Obviously was at one point in the race in 2nd, and unfortunately he had 2 incidents that's put real pay to his rate, but he certainly had the pace around this track.
Yeah, he's still ahead of Leon Penn after all of that, as Penn just goes back. Oh no, they swap back. Yeah, it's certainly not been the best of days for either of these drivers, but that advantage, that accident, actually helped Matthias Beer move up into 9th place overall. One of the best runs we've seen from Matthias all year, and he is certainly bringing a very colourful BMW up towards the pack, up into 27 seconds off the lead, and up into 9th place, as we see Lewis Ward now attacking Chateau as he heads down, almost bump drafting him along the straights, looks to the outside, defensive line by the Romanian. Lewis Ward will look for the cut back, but Porsche just slides and he can't quite make it through. Who is that close behind?
Casello,
no, I think that's Engel a lap down behind. As Matthias Beer. I think we need to shut up.
I think we do, mate. Every time we say someone's doing good, they spin. So we won't say that people are doing good anymore.
Looks like it's all by himself as well.
Oh, no way.
Oh.
Okay, we're not. New rule: we're not allowed to say anyone's doing really good. Okay.
No, we'll take payments to say people's names.
If
anybody wants us to say anybody's name, pop it in the chat and put a donation to Apex, and we'll say they're doing well. As we go back to the front here, are 2 drivers who are going very well. Bogdan Moldovan and John Derrick still battling away. Derrick hasn't managed to find that little gap, as he makes a little mistake there at the top of the hill. That gives Moldovan a little bit more breathing space, and with less than just about 4 minutes to go in that fight. Interesting as Lewis Ward goes round the outside. Will he get the drag up the hill? Don't think he will get the traction to make it. The door handle to door handle. Lewis Ward still around the outside, still there. Is he going to be pushed out wide? No, he isn't. He's got the inside for the next corner. You can't go too wide through here. Great driving by both of them.
Oh, amazing. What a battle here for 7th place as we're watching currently Lewis Ward and Mikhail Chateau. We're having a real big ding-dong here, and yeah, great to see. I mean, who is that behind Lewis Ward?
It's Dominic Engel. He's having he's paid his money. He's getting a good view.
He certainly is. I was just thinking, who is that third car at the moment? It's Dominic Engel. But no, I mean,
I think he's sitting there with his popcorn with this battle.
It certainly is, and I hear obviously our viewers saying, how do we make such an amazing broadcast? Well, it's actually thanks to the amazing program that's called SDK Gaming, which obviously produces all the live timing for us commentators and for you wonderful viewers on screen, as you can see on the left hand side. You know, does absolutely loads things more than this, gives you a track map, gives you a battle box, it tells you your fuel calculator, and also if you're thinking about using it for streaming, it actually links all the cameras. So we've got Dennis who's providing our wonderful cameras, and whatever he shows we actually see. So you know, we see a live timing changes and car changes as it happens, which is absolutely invaluable for anybody that's looking to do broadcasting. But like I said, it can be used as single to know where you are for strategy through endurance racing. So just head over to stk-gaming.co.uk, and I believe it's a 15-day free trial that you can actually get to see if you get it. But I guarantee that if you use it to its full potential, you will probably subscribe after that 15 days. So head over to stk-gaming.co.uk and see what they can do, as we currently watching Kieran Smart trying to make a move on Gazella here, coming down into turn 5. Is he going to go down? Oh, gets a little bit squirty there, and unfortunately manages to lose out for Hereford, but Gazella goes a little bit wide there, and oh, nearly picks up Ottila. So Gazella had a terrible corner there, losing 3 paces to Hereford, Smart and Ottila. Still managing to stay on the back of this pack, but losing track position in that poor exit out of turn 5. And it's so how easy it is to do. But we join this battle again here for 7th place with Mikhail Chatou and Leon Ward. Relentless Lewis Ward is trying everything he can, but I think you're right. These Romanians have had defensive practice, because Bogdan at the front and Chatou here at the moment doing an outstanding sterling job to defend over from Lewis Ward and John Derrick. So an amazing job here at the moment. Damn, Sullivan couldn't do that one.
Yeah, I think Gazella maybe missed a class after that one, leaving the gap on the inside. But we do have the white flag, and Bogdan Moldovan is leading the way. He has 9/10 of a second lead over John Derrick. John's just struggled on the last couple of laps. Don't know if he's eased off his charge, but he will close up on this final lap. Further behind, Gribstad is holding back Sven Newman for 3rd place, as we now look at Lewis Ward again trying to make it past Chatou. He goes for him. No, can't make it through. Brilliant defence by Romanian. Hereford not a lot further behind. We keep getting confused by Dominic Engel just sitting there, and he's setting some good pace to keep up with these guys, to be fair. But Ward and we will get your name right soon. Chatou are side by side again to the inside, keeping him back. Will Ward get the run out the corner? No, he doesn't. He slides, and actually Engel trying not to get involved in this battle. So that was great driving by Dominic Engel to not dive to the inside and stay out of it. There's Gazella being passed by Winkler. To Carl Winkler gain on top. Yeah, it's all happening on this final lap. But most importantly, Bogdan Moldovan is heading towards second victory of the season. He won the opening round at Daytona. Very close finish. This time he's been made to sweat by the Brit John Derrick. But this will pull him into championship contention into the final round. He's been a bit hot and cold this year, but certainly hot around this road America circuit. Heads out the final corner, heads up the straight, already celebrating. I would try and get up the hill first, Bogdan, and celebrates as he crosses the line with a 2.5 second lead over John Derrick. Has run out of fuel. Hakon Gribstad has gone past him and Sven Newman, and Derrick's going to finish 4th. It looks like he's run out of fuel. I said in the pit stops it looked like he had short fueled maybe to get to the end, and it looks like he'd run out of fuel. So Hakon Gribstad takes his best finish of the season in 2nd place, and that is actually, yes, his first podium of the season. Mr. Consistency around the back end of the top 10, and now he's got his podium. Sven Newman, the championship leader, takes 3rd place. John Derrick falls to 4th on the line. I'm not even sure how close it was between Newman and Derrick. Chris Beats, the American, gets a great 5th place. Powlich in 6th. Chatou in 7th. Ward in 8th. Hereford in 9th. And Kieran Smart in 10th. Otto Hertler has finished 11th from pit lane. Carl Winkler up in 12th. Gazella fell to 13th. Matthias Beer, after we said he was doing so well, down to 14th. Leon Penn, 15th. Not the result he wanted. It will actually count with his championship score. So, because his worst so far is 15th. So he's actually bookended his win last time out with 2 15th places. But victory goes to Bogdan Moldovan.
Yeah, I mean, that was an outstanding race. It was very much under pressure there from John Derrick for pretty much the last 20 minutes of that race. And obviously, unfortunately, we just saw John manage to lose all his fuel coming up the start-finish straight. So I think he'd be absolutely gutted with that. But, you know, nothing to take away from him. He did make a real decent go of it and try to get past Bogdan Moldovan, but you know his defensive skills today were second to none. I think at the end of the day, and I think it was 1,000th of a second the difference between Sven Newman and John Derrick going over the line. And I bet Bogdan would wish that John Derrick was in second place to try and close that extra couple of points that it would have been difference between third and fourth. But you know, an outstanding race there. All down the field, you know, and some unfortunate incidents happened to some people, like Kurt Kamari, a couple of incidents there that put him down into P16, but kept going. Same with Brandon Tabone, obviously unfortunate. The start 15 minutes of it had an incident which pretty much saw him out to tow back to the pits and get repair there. So, you know, one of our second place at the moment, 17th, which this will be his drop round. I'm not sure what his other drop round score was, but it seems to be himself, Leon Penn, who were all in the top 6 of the championship, having pretty terrible rounds there and giving them up. So, it'd be interesting to see the points after this round. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be really close. And just looking quickly, Penn, 15th was his drop, so he will score that 15th. And Tabone will score an 8th place finish at this moment because he had an 8th. So he still does. He will still score decent points to keep him in the championship hunt. So, but I think it will be down to probably 4 drivers of Derrick, Moldovan, Tabone, and Newman.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a couple of people waiting in the waiting area. Dave, I'll let you take the first one. Who would you like to have a chat with?
I think I'll leave the race winner for yourself and last on the stream, and we'll take Hakon Gribstad.
Okay, let's bring Hakon up.
Hakon, a great second place, your best finish of the season, and you've shown you've got pace throughout the year, and it's just all come together at this event.
Yeah, I don't know where this came from, to be honest. I didn't expect this at all coming into the day, but I'll take it.
Yeah, we've always seen yourself and Hereford doing pretty well at coming up through the field in qualifying, and then maybe something happens in the race and your results show that you're very consistent around the bottom end of the top 10. But this has certainly got to be a confidence boost for you.
Yeah, for sure. This is another level. I did end up getting a freebie at the end there, though. Don't know his name, but he underfueled. that was a surprise, and yeah, I'll take a freebie at the end. Why not?
Yeah, you're obviously going to get a podium anyway. Why not have second instead?
Yeah, exactly.
As we're coming towards the end of the season, is there anything that, like, throughout the year, how have you felt it's gone in general?
Well, it's gone somewhat okay. I had one bad race early on, but other than that, I think I've had pretty much all top 10 finishes. And then topping up with second today, that's amazing.
And that will probably cement your top 10 in the championship with, worst results of 27th, and then the rest have been sort of top 12s, top 10s. Is there any target you have for the next round and where you'd like to finish in the championship? Because obviously the top 10 will get prizes in this as well.
Oh no, I haven't really looked at it, to be honest. Obviously, I want to get as high as possible, but I think I don't think I'm going to be able to reach a lot further up than where I'm at. I think I'm down on like a couple points. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at it.
Sounds like you've just sort of took race by race and just tried to move forward the best you can per event, really.
Yeah, for sure. Just trying to do the best I can in every race and see how it goes.
So with the final round coming up, what do you think you can do around the final race of the season?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's Phillip Island, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I love that track, but these guys are so quick, so they'll probably beat me anyway.
Is it sort of weird to you, Phillip Island, because it's obviously known in real life as sort of a motorbike track rather than a car racing track? Is there any sort of, obviously you don't want to give too much away, but you enjoy Phillip Island. Is there any way you think you can gain a little bit, like a certain corner or anything like that?
Well, I think like through turn, what is it, 3, like the double left-hander and down to the hairpin is a spot I've driven a lot of Phillip Island in different cars, not the GT3s though, sadly. So that'll be new, but hopefully I can, do well there.
Okay, and before we let you go, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Well, my fellow Norwegian, Øystein Hafjul, and yeah, anyone watching, and yeah.
Just like to add one thing there. Obviously, I've just looked quickly at the points. I haven't uploaded it, but with the people who are around you, I think fifth place is obtainable for you in the last race, mate. If you have another good result.
Well, let's try and get that
So
first place next round.
There you go. Don't, just keep not looking at the points, and you'll do fine.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Definitely.
Well, congratulations on your podium, and we'll see you at Phillip Island.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
That was
So-
Hakon Gribstad there, coming second place, his best position of the season so far, Dave. So certainly,
Yeah,
certainly
I
best
think
luck.
I think it was a bit rabbit in the headlights there. He seems pretty surprised about that result. So now we'll leave you on to our race winner and dominant race winner, Bogdan Moldovan.
Yeah, so welcome to the commentary booth there, Bogdan. I thought I'd leave you a couple of minutes just to calm down for it, because that was a very exciting race. Obviously, the start of the race, you sort of scampered away from it, being about 4 seconds ahead of the fight that was happening behind you between John Derrick and I think Kurt Kamari was in there at that time, and you managed to get 4 seconds away. But then sort of John got a little bit of fresh air and was starting to close you down. So, I mean, how was that race for you?
Yeah, it was very intense. So at the moment I saw that I have the 4 second gap, I was saying to myself, okay, now I need to look after the car, to look after the tires, so to manage my gap. And also I will try the best I could to save the tires, because in the last few minutes the car, usually the BMW at least, is on the ice. As I saw that John Derrick was kind of struggling. He made some couple of mistakes back there. So yeah, my heart was really racing, because I was needed to look where I can defend, where he's stronger against me. So yeah, all those thoughts going on in my mind. Yeah, it was not easy task to do it.
No, you certainly had the measure at the moment at the time, because we were watching you on stream, and your defense certainly going into sort of the first corner and the fifth corner. You kept John Derrick at just that arm's length where he couldn't quite get the slipstream pass on you, which was amazing to see. It seemed like the Romanian contingency within the group was all worked together and had exceptionally defensive skills. So yourself and Matasha too had an excellent defensive display today. And that, you did actually answer one of the questions I was going to ask. Was obviously Dave was mentioning on stream that we think you were trying to save them tires mid race, and obviously just letting John Derrick get a little bit closer. So that's always good to know. But coming to the end, did you ever get any doubt in your mind that I've made the wrong mistake here? I should have just pushed on at that to get that gap bit bigger over John.
No, not really, because I knew that it's gonna be hard to pass me, because here it's because even if it has these long straight, those are very tight corners where it's really difficult to pass, especially if your tires are not in a good condition. Now, John had the Lamborghini, which is a mid-engine car. So against me, he had the advantage of rotation of the car in those slow corners. But in corners like carousel, I saw that I have the advantage there. So in my mind, I was calculating, okay, where he's stronger and where I need to really defend, where he has a chance to get past me.
Yeah, you've done an amazing job today. You've had a bit of an up and down season during the races that we've had on the current calendar. Obviously, we've got Phillip Island next. Where does that rank in your I don't like tracks?
Well, I can't say that because I don't know the track yet, so I only look at the layout. So, but looking at the layout, I don't think I like it. But just because I'm the BMW and that tracks is very technical, so it's gonna be a hard job to beat against the Porsche and the Lamborghini there.
Yeah, definitely. They seem to be a lot better on the tighter tracks in the BMW. But the good thing is now it looks like you have retaken that second place in the championship behind Sven. Sven has got a bit of a gap at the moment, but as we saw in this race, Brandon Taboni was up there at the front, and one little incident saw him at the back of the field and finishing in his lowest position that he did in this round. So there's still everything to play for going into the last round. Have you still got that confidence that you can get it done?
Well, yes, but now this motivates me to do more practice because I can finish second in the championship at the best. I don't think I can win because Sven has such a gap to myself, but anything is possible right now. So yeah, I think it's gonna be an interesting end to the season.
Well, what it has done exactly that is put 3-4 people into contention with getting the fight for second, maybe a bit much, and I thought something pretty severe to happen to Sven to probably lose the championship. But certainly, like you say, you've put yourself in the best position to secure that second place in the championship. So only one round to go here at on this championship in Phillip Island. So good luck in that, Bogdan. But you've put yourself on a good course at the moment with your first place in the championship. So congratulations. And before we let you go, mate, would you like to give a shout out to anyone?
Yes, to the team, which we work very hard on the setup, on the practice, to my family, my friends, and a special shout out to my cousin Dragos, who's watching me right now recently and started watching me now all the way back to the UK.
That's great. Well, thank you for joining us here in the commentary box. So that was Bogdan Moldovan, the winner of the Road America race, round 8 of the Apex Trophy, GT Trophy Pro. So Dave, one more round to go. Phillip Island, very interesting track. Yeah, well, I think we're going to expect big fireworks at the end of this championship.
Yeah, especially around the circuit of Phillip Island. It's going to be, I'm not going to say it's one of those circuits you can't pass on, but the corners are so quick in some of the places. You've really got to set the move up a couple of corners before, so it's going to really be advantageous to sort of a driver who will think through his moves, but rather than doing by instinct. But certainly it's going to be an exciting finale. I believe in my head, mathematically, we might have 4 drivers in with a shot. John Derrick may have just dropped out of that with that issue at the end of that race, but I think it's going to be between Derrick, Moldovan, Tabone, and Newman. But it'd be hard push to look past Newman.
Yeah, definitely. So that brings us to the end of this broadcast here of round 8 around Road America. A big thank you again to our 3 main sponsors, Virtual Racing School, SDK Gaming, and Apex Racing Academy. You can go over to our social media page on Apex Racing TV on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to get all the latest news and gossip on all the series that happen here on Apex Racing TV. So from myself, Andy Thompson, from Dave Whitehouse joining me alongside in the commentary box, and from our wonderful Dennis Branch up in the production box doing a fantastic job. we say goodnight here at Road America and look forward to seeing you at the final round of the Apex Racing League GT Trophy around Phillip Island. Good night.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.